Good afternoon, everyone. This is Sharon Morgan, Literacy Specialist for the OSRCL grant, and we're excited that you're here to join us today as we talk to Clinton Public Schools about some of the exciting things that they're doing. Just a reminder that we do have the chat box up there, so if you have any questions or comments, you can put them in there. And I know you all are getting very familiar with us, but here's our contact information, and we just wanted to remind you that we are always here to help with anything that you might need, so please don't hesitate to contact us. And at the bottom of this screen is also a link to the presentation. If you go to bit.ly/OSRCL Partners 2, you can get to these slides. We had a OSRCL Partners webinar back in May with Oklahoma City Public Schools, and if you have anything exciting happening with your community partners or early childhood partners, please don't hesitate to let us know. I really want to do another one in the spring, and maybe we can highlight several districts at one time. So we know that OSRCL's aim is to align literacy practices from birth through 12th grade, and along with our federal goals, Oklahoma has another goal where we are looking to increase the number of collaborative activities between school districts and their partners over the life of the grants. And to gather baseline data for this, Michelle Seibel has sent out a survey to districts and their early childhood partners to complete, so we know where we're starting. And if you have not completed that survey, we're going to be sending it out to you again soon. We just wanted to remind you of the impact elements, which I'm sure you're getting familiar with as you revise your local literacy plans. And this webinar goes along with the T, teaming with families and communities. Okay, so our goals today, before I send it over to Clinton Public Schools, is to understand the need for early childhood partnerships and focusing on the family, the importance of bridging the gap between school and home for our English language learners, and also providing examples on how Clinton is working with their community partners. They're going to be highlighting the Clinton Parents as Reading Partners, or CPARP program, their family English classes, and the development of their local literacy team. And please don't hesitate to give us questions. All right, so I'm going to send it over in just a minute to Stephanie and Tanya. I do want to let you know, for those of you listening to the webinar, that I am here at the State Department of Education, and they are in Clinton Public Schools, so we're, just in case there's some lag time, that is what is going on. So Stephanie and Tanya, do you want to introduce yourselves?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, Sharon. We really appreciate this opportunity to share with everyone, and we're so excited that we have so many people joining this afternoon. I'm Stephanie Heim. I'm the Director of Elementary Curriculum, English Language Learners, and Gifted and Talented Programs here at Clinton Public Schools. I was also one of 4 of the OSRCL grant writers last spring.
Hi, I'm Tanya Grant, and I'm the Early Childhood Technology Integrationist here in Clinton, and I have 3 elementary sites, and I'm also the CPARP coordinator for our OSRCL grant, which we're going to be telling you more about, and it's Parents as Reading Partners.
Sharon, I think that someone may have their mic on. We're hearing music in the background.
Not mine.
Could you all please make sure that you have it on mute? We were hearing some music. Thank you.
Okay. So we want to give a little background information on Clinton Public Schools. Our current population, as of today, actually, is 2,206 students. We have 84% free and reduced lunches. We are 4% American Indian. We're 2% Asian, 8% Black, 47% Hispanic, and 40% white.
And one of the programs that we are excited to tell you about is our CPARP program. And we have 34 families currently enrolled in our CPARP program. And we also have, we're going to be telling you some about our English class, our family English class. And we have 45 families enrolled in that. And the third thing that we're going to be discussing today is our local literacy team. And currently we have 8 members on that team. The first thing I wanted to share with you is a fact about our CPARP program. One of the things that we are really proud is the strong school family community partnerships foster high educational aspirations and more motivated students. And as we were getting ready for this webinar, Stephanie and I just researched and found a lot of great articles just to back this up. And this came from an NEA policy brief called Parent Family Community Involvement in Education. So that's where we got this back to remember. The next thing I would like to do is to tell you about our Clinton Parents as Reading Partners. Our Clinton Parents as Reading Partners is a free voluntary parent education program designed to foster an early partnership between home and school. And the program is available for all parents with children birth to age 3, based on the philosophy that parents are their children's first and most important teachers. When we first started this program, in August is when we set this out through our OSRCL, and we had a child find, and we called it Family Find is what we called it, and we searched for other families that might be interested in this, and we partner with our local district daycare, and so we of course went to our district daycare. We also wanted to reach out to our young students in our Clinton Gold program, and these are just high school students and students that have just graduated, and we really wanted to focus on those students as well. The slide that you see right now is just a program. It tells a little bit about our program because we have book bags for each of our families. And in these book bags, we have books centered around a book focus, and all of the books are in a theme. And so, Stephanie, if you'll go to the next slide, our next slide was our first Clinton Parents as Reading Partners, and this was our September meeting, and it was on track to literacy.
Next slide, Sharon.
Did I call her Stephanie? Yeah. Sorry, sorry, Sharon.
It's fine.
This was our first Clinton Parents as Reading Partner night, and we centered it around, of course, you can see the little engine that could, and these are some of the activities that we did. When we have our family night, we have small activities all around the room focusing on that book. And when the parents get there with their children, we have our story time, and then we branch out and go to all the different activities. So as you can see, there's of course we have a lot of story time and reading that the parents are reading with their children. We usually have a little craft project that goes with the book, and then we also have some movement activities, and we have a STEM activity with some blocks and as well as pretend. The next slide, Sharon, we also had a night, our October family night. We invited a lady from Footsteps to Brilliance, and we introduced this program to all of our families, and we also gave them an iPad to take home with our Footsteps program loaded on it. And our Footsteps to Brilliance program is a literacy program that toggles between English and Spanish, and everyone in our Clinton zip code is free to use it. And if you'll go to the next slide, Sharon, our November family night was Reading is Fun, and we had just old-fashioned, just childhood favorite books on that one, and all the activities went with that. You can see Chicka Chicka Boom Boom there, and Goodnight Moon was another one that we covered there. But these are just some of the things that we're doing with our families. Also, we have two early childhood teachers that are in the program as well, and they meet with each of these families throughout the month one time. And then, of course, everyone comes together for our family night. Oh, we had a question. Carlene asked, what was November's theme idea? And our November's theme idea was reading is fun, and our book focus was Goodnight Moon. And so you can see kind of some of the little individual activities that are around. Each of them has a book sitting there, so then the parent can read the book with them, and then they do that little activity. And we usually have about 5 different books that go with that theme that are around the room with little activities that are going with it.
Did you mention, I'm going to cut in here because I don't know if Tanya mentioned this. This is wonderful when you talked about the book bag, about them bringing the, they get to bring the book back.
Yes. And the little book bag that you saw with the sweet little girl, each of they bring the book bag back every month, and then we change out the books that have the new book focus in it. And then also there is one book that is in there that the families keep, and we also have little activities that go along with that, so that parents can continue to do literacy activities with their kids at home. If you guys have questions more about the CPARP, I would love to share all of our themes that we've broken down and our focus books. Anything that I can share that we've already done the legwork on some of those things, I would love if you just direct message me. I will be happy to send any of that out. And I would especially love to hear activities that you're doing if you're doing a family night as well. Sharon, if you want to go to the next slide, I'm going to tell you just one of the challenges that we had after we attended NAEYC in Washington, D.C. We realized how important it is to have to differentiate more activities. Some of our younger children, I felt like our activities didn't go quite young, developmentally appropriate. But they were fine, but I just feel like that we could do a better job reaching those younger children. So that was one of our challenges, but as I said, we're working through that and just doing more and more activities, and it's gotten a lot easier every single month, and it's been a blast.
It's been fabulous. I have gone to a couple of the evenings, and I always come away with such joy and excitement just seeing how excited the kids are about literacy.
Tanya, this is Sharon. I have a question because I think this has been a struggle for other districts in that they have some kind of event and you have children, very young children, that you're keeping occupied. Do you have any activity suggestions that you've tried that have worked?
As far as the activities themselves,
yes.
we set it up, like I said, with about a book, like a book focus. So each activity is a little bit different. We tried to make sure that we had sensory activities, and we tried to make sure that we had some more gross motor activities. There were some. They were jumping from. When we did the little engine that could, they were jumping from different colors, and then differentiating a little bit. We had some children that were a little bit older, and so they were jumping with to letters that were in their names. It was kind of a little train track that they were jumping on, and then but each one of the activities goes with something with that book. But we tried to include, like I said, some sensory, some Play-Doh, things that really just those basic things. But then we made them go even more with that book. Does that make sense, Sharon?
It does. I just want to make sure. Okay,
And
thank
about
you.
how many do you have set up around the room, Tanya?
We usually have about 6 activities
thinking.
set up in the room, and then if like we did cloud Play-Doh for Goodnight Moon, and so we share the recipes. So then if the parents want to do it at home, then they could do it at home. And we wanted to go ahead and have a little baggie for the parents to take home, but it was kind of one of those epic fails that night. It wasn't doing like we wanted it to do. So that was kind of an epic fail.
But it was still wonderful. Though.
We did great big, but we didn't have enough of it to let them take it. But we had the recipe for them. And like I said, we have a read aloud with our focus book before all of this starts, and that's a really fun time for. And the parents really enjoyed that time as well. I think it's real important that those early childhood teachers model that, so some of these parents can see, how to interact with those children as they're reading. So that's a really special time as well. Do you want to go to the next one, Sharon, and we'll
does anyone else have any questions for Tanya right now? We can pause for questions, or we can just continue. Sharon, do you want us to just go on?
Sorry, my mic was off. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So we're going to move on to our next family involvement activity, which is our family English class. When we were looking for a quote that really encompassed how we feel about this program, we found this one in the same location that Tanya had shared earlier. So it's parental involvement affects minority students' academic achievement across all races. And since we have a very high population of, sorry about the bell, guys, a very high population of Hispanic students, we just really have been trying to find an avenue to get those parents up to our school, and maybe enhancing their language would in turn affect the students and their achievement within their classrooms. So we were so excited to be able to, through OSRCL, we're on the next slide, sorry. So through OSRCL, we were so excited to be able to contract with our world language educator, Krista Steiner. She's actually on staff at our high school. So we wanted to make these classes available to our English learner families within our community. So the students have to have a student in our school community to be able to attend that class. It is free. We're hoping that they will be able to communicate and be a partner in their child's educational journey after going through this class. So we partnered with Krista. We targeted our newcomers over the past 2 years, which was around 20 students. Krista was able to, because she is bilingual, she was able to contact the families by phone and really go in depth on what we were offering to them. Then also within our staff, we have a lot of assistants, custodians, cafeteria workers who are Hispanic, and so she also reached out to those employees. And so with the first meeting was that first Wednesday in October, and we do this in the evening, by the way. The first meeting was at 5:30, but I'll share what we're doing now in just a minute. But at the first meeting, we had 22 adults, and we had, I think, 7 children. So we want them to bring their children in, and when they bring their children can listen along in the class, or they can get on Footsteps to Brilliance, so they can do either one of those. So after the first class, the second class grew to around 30. So Krista asked about splitting that class and having 2 sessions on Wednesday. So we have a session from 4 to 6 and a session from 6 to 8. In those sessions, she has gone over, for instance, parent-teacher conferences were coming up. So she was able to walk through that process of the parent-teacher conference with the families. She's able to, any notes that go home, our school website, just how can they communicate with our school so that they're understanding what's happening with their student is really what we're focusing on now. We do have a program that we've purchased called Voices. It's VOCES, and we purchased that through OSRCL. The families are able to work on that at home. Krista also goes over that in class, but mainly hers is about conversation. And for instance, I've tried to pop in at every one of the classes and stay for a little bit. And the last week I popped in for a little bit, and they were talking about she would ask, like, what grade is your child in, and they have to answer her in English. So she may talk in Spanish and then talk in English, you know, so she's going back and forth with them. But they need to know their teachers' names, their principals' names, the name of their school, the classroom their students in, and they were really having a group conversation about that. So we ask that all of our campuses send notes home in English and Spanish, but that doesn't always happen. So they're able to bring those notes to Krista also, and she can help them work through what the note is saying, what they need, and those type of things. And I don't know if I've already said this, but these classes are free. We've done it now since October 3rd, so we've done it 2 full months. We're up to 45 adults attending the class, and last week we had maybe 3 or 4 students that were in. I'm talking about young, like early childhood students that were in sitting also. So you can go to the next slide now, Sharon. Okay, so the challenge that we have seen, and I might have already spoken about this, was offering 2 classes instead of 1. Oh, this is a little bit different. When I said that we split them into 2 groups, that was because we had so many participants. So Krista's only one person. She couldn't have 45 adults in one class trying to teach them English. So that's when we split that group up. Now the challenge for us is offering 2 classes instead of 1 in the respect of the levels of learning that they're at. So we have newcomer families that are just learning English. They're just beginners. And then we have intermediate families who have been here maybe 3 years, and so they're you know, a little bit higher. It's kind of like in a classroom when you have all these levels at once. And what we would really like to do is expand that to a beginner's class and an intermediate class. And at this point, we have the 2 classes to split everyone up, but it's not going to be even on saying the beginners go to one and the intermediate go to another. So we're really working through that, and we think we'll be worked through it in the next few weeks, just learning the families more and trying to accommodate their needs. Did anyone have any questions or comments about that process? Sharon, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's it. But if you think of questions, please go ahead and put those in the chat box, and we'll address those.
Okay, so we'll move on now to our local literacy team. And Tanya and I are both going to talk about this part of it. In our local literacy plan, we stated that we would meet every quarter with our local literacy team. And the quote that you see on the side reflects what we're doing. The community support of the educational process is considered one of the characteristics common to high-performing schools. And of course, everyone wants to be a high-performing school, and we want to hear what our stakeholders have to say. So you may go to the next slide now. So we had our first quarterly meeting in October. We have our second quarterly meeting next Monday, actually, on the 17th. So I've listed the people that are involved in our local literacy team at this time. Our superintendent, our assistant superintendent, myself, Melissa Kanabe, who is our secondary curriculum director, and she was also a writer of our grant. Our early childhood specialist, which is Tanya. Our library media specialist, which is Vanessa Perez. And shout out to Vanessa. I think she's listening right now. And then we have 2 community members who are also our partners. The Western Plains Library, we have a lady from there, and then we also have a lady from East Side Academy, which is a nonprofit organization that opens after school for our children in our most needed area within our city. And then we have 1 parent. And I'm going to let Tanya talk about the parent and why we decided that.
We decided to have, we wanted all of our community partners involved in this, of course, and so we asked one of our CPARP parents, actually, to be on our team, and she just happens to be one of my former pre-K students. So that was just kind of a fun little fact. And that we felt like she has 2 younger children, and we really wanted to pick a person that would be there for that longevity. And so that's really how we chose. We just looked at our CPARP families and chose her.
So we really have a diverse group with our community partners and our parent, and it's really neat to have a parent that is young that is a part of our team. So that was really good. So I'm going to continue now with this slide. The local literacy team meets at least quarterly, and I've already gone over that. So the data, we analyze the data generated through our selected assessment systems to monitor the students' growth. And so our selected for early childhood, which is our CPARP program, and then our pre-K program within our school system is Brigance. And we were able to purchase that through our OSRCL grant. And then we, for 5th grade and 8th grade, are our other 2 goal areas that we report data on, and we're taking our STAR data. So we've already presented that once to the group, so I'm very anxious on Monday to see growth and really have a great conversation with our community partners on that. And then also the local literacy team recommends adjustments to the plan and its implementation. And we've really been talking to Brooke quite on the OSRCL team at the State Department about readjusting some things in our plan, because what we have seen is we were really, really excited about our plan and implementation, but as the year has gone on, we see some areas that we could really work on to make them stronger, or some areas we didn't need as much focus on. So we're going to work with Brooke and the team on that December 10th date, and then come back to our local literacy team with that idea. So then you can go to the next slide. Okay, and so then finding community partners that would be willing to participate, and I guess I jumped ahead of myself. That was kind of a challenge. Tanya addressed that. What we really wanted somebody that was going to have children in this for the long haul, and what direction in the area of literacy would they like to see our district moving into. And so we really had a discussion with the 4 members on our local literacy team, which our grant writing team. That was a big discussion, something we decided we really felt strongly about. So does anyone have any questions about that?
And this is Sharon. I just wanted to clarify that the literacy revision meeting is actually January 10th, not December 10th.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. January 10th is over and done.
December 10th is over.
Yes, yes.
I think you're ready to get to the break. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew it was January 10th, and we're looking forward to
yes,
to talking about that. All right, sounds good. Well, okay, let me get to the next slide. So Tanya and Stephanie have put together some resources that they've used that may be helpful to those of you who are listening. Do you want to go through those?
Sure. One of the resources that we put on was Footsteps to Brilliance. just since we mentioned that earlier, we wanted, if you do want to learn more about that, we wanted to make sure that we put in the website for you to see exactly what that is. And then I'm going to skip a little bit down, and then Stephanie will go back up to the WIDA. But again, I just wanted to tell you, if you have any interest in seeing our themes and our parent resources and all that we're doing with our Clinton Parents as Reading Partners, just like I said, direct message me. On our webpage, I have some of the slides that I've already shared with you, of course, but it also has where we enrolled the students, and there's like a Google form on there, and just to kind of let you see the process that we did that.
Okay, and then I'll go back up to WIDA. We use our WIDA website a lot within our district for the WIDA standards for our English language learners, and they have an early childhood section also. So I think that you would find a lot of resources to help that population. And then Voices, I put a link for that. That's what we actually use with our family English classes. And then skipping down to our Clinton Public Schools OSRCL Family English class. Oh, no, you're fine. To our Family English class webpage. We have Krista's information on there and my information if you would like to reach out to us. Krista is fabulous. She would probably be willing to answer any questions. And then we have a few resources on there also.
Okay, then I also added this slide. If you're working with children before, prior to school, birth through 5, the Department of Human Services has the Early Learning Guidelines for infants, toddlers, and twos, which has been newly revised, and also one for ages 3 through 5. Those are great resources for families, or if you want to know what they should be doing at those ages to help you plan activities. Those are very helpful resources. Okay, hold on. Okay. I also wanted to remind you, if you're creating partnerships, there are a lot of different ways you can reach out. I so appreciate Tanya and Stephanie, all the different places that you've reached out for your community activities, the families, if you have universities, libraries, nonprofit agencies, healthcare, childcare, faith-based communities, government, philanthropic groups, businesses, all of those can help you. Okay, I'm going to go back to that last one. So once again, here are Stephanie and Tanya's contact information if you wanted to get with them. And thank you all so much. Best webinars are the ones that talk about Cloud Play-Doh. Can't get better than that.
This was the first time for us, so I hope that we were able to give some information out to other districts that would be helpful.
Yes, I think that was wonderful. I really loved how you all reach out to so many different people to find families. I think that's an excellent component, and how your high school teacher helps out with the English classes, and how you incorporate school activities into those English classes to help them maneuver conferences and school notes and those types of things that can be a challenge. Okay, thank you all so much. As you might imagine, we do have a survey. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box or let us know. If you go to SurveyMonkey, actually it's r/OSRCL partnerships, you can let us know what was helpful on this, what you might like to see next time as we continue. And we want to thank everyone for joining us today. And if we don't talk to you, have a happy holiday season. And please let us know if there's anything you need. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you.